Well, first things first, a drawing. So this is drawing of the bracket. I'll just go through the design tree and just show you how we made it. So we go to sketch. Okay, so that's the basic sketch. There we did a boss extrude. So if we look over here, we're on a mid plane, so that's extruded by 7mm. Although it's in imperial, but it extrudes 3.5mm either side of the mid plane, which is there. You can see it there. Look. Okay, so that's that. And then next we did, what did we do? This boss here. So we basically just extended that boss at the bottom, which made that thickness 12.7 or half an inch. Again, made a little sketch for that. And then next one, that sketch there. Let's have a look. There you go. So basically made that block. We've got a slit there, so when it clamps up through here, we can tighten up onto the 15mm that's going on, and then we've got a cut out for a keyway. So that's that one. And then what else? Right. And then we've got this, which is basically a stiffening rib. So again, we've drawn that on a plane, and we come out of that again. Yep, that one's made on a mid plane, so have a look there. Being extruded either side of the that mid plane to, I think it's 6mm. Yeah, quarter, just over 6mm. So that's that part done, and then rest of this, I've got a couple of fillets. Is there a couple of fillets? It's one, yeah, a couple of fillets, which is the fillet all the way around here, all over there, and then to the other side, up to there, and then the other fillet is a little small one just on there, just to blend it in. So we've got all that done there, and then we got drilled and tapped holes. So I believe, where did we start? Yeah, we started from the top here and went all the way through with a threaded hole, 5mm, yeah, M5 by 0.8, and then with that sketch, we drew a sketch on there, just 2 circles, 5mm clearance. Rather 5mm off, no, it is 5mm, yep. So we drew those holes, and then we basically did an extrude cut down to the centre of the block there. Yeah, which gives us clearance in that top part of the block. And then if we look down there, we're still threaded in there. We've got cosmetic threads on there, which is pretty good. So if we take this into a 2D drawing, we can get cosmetic threads to show up, and it'll put in the lines to denote a thread form. So yeah, that's that. The distances between those 2 holes were worked out in CAD, but it was in an assembly with the reverse lever and the bracket. So I worked out how much it moved on the bottom here, and then that's how we worked out the notches in the reverse lever, if you remember mentioning on one of the last videos. Right, so that's the drawing. We've got a solid. We're going to import that into OneCNC into the CAD CAM, and we can go ahead and create some toolpath. And once we've done that, we'll cut the cast iron off and we'll machine it. So here we are in OneCNC XR9mm Expert. It's actually a week later, and the main reason being we had problems importing the solid model. In fact, look, it had a shave haircut, so you can tell it's been a week, or at least day after, but it has been a week. So I will just show you on here. When I originally imported the solid model from SolidWorks, it imported like this, and this front face here, it was missing. I did try it a couple of times importing it, and no luck. It was always this front face that was missing. So what I did was I created an IGES file, imported that, and imported the whole model completely fine. And then it got to these last few machining operations, and I started putting the first one in, the flow machining, and it came up with an error which basically said it couldn't do the operation because it needed a solid model. So then I couldn't do that. I ended up redrawing the part in SolidWorks, drawing it a slightly different way to what I did previously, imported it, and it imported fine, or I thought it had imported fine. So I went through all the tool paths, all the machining operations, until again it got to the flow machining, and it came up with another error saying it needed to be a solid, because an IGES file actually imports models just as surfaces rather than an actual solid model. So then I couldn't use that. Now this has happened for a couple of Saturdays. So then, in fact no, I'll go back. I didn't actually redraw it. The IGES file was of the original model. After I imported the IGES file, that was and that failed. Then I went back and redrew it, and I imported it as it is here. And then I went through it all, got to the flow machining, that was fine. I machined this part here, these fillets along there, which I think is it that one? Yeah, it's that one. And then turned round, and then I realised that, sorry, down here it was these two surfaces here that were actually missing. Now I did try and put surfaces in to complete the model, but again when I tried doing the flow machining it came up with an error which basically said I couldn't do it because it needed to be a solid model. So I still had issues. At that point, on that Saturday last week, I did get in touch with OneCNC Technical, sent the file off to them via email, told them what the problem was, and they were actually pretty fast. They actually emailed me back on the Sunday and basically said to start with, try and download the latest update. They did mention a few other bits in the email, but I did do that and it actually solved the problem. So there are obviously some errors in the software, so then downloading the update, installing that, then doing it all again, it worked. So XR9 is fairly new. I think it was out back end of last year. Yeah, so it's a fairly new software, so there are going to be updates, and it's pretty good that you can go onto the website and download those updates, and it keeps everything up to date within that current version. Okay, so getting onto the software itself. So over here we've got the feature tree, feature manager. So we've got that's all this 2D, well, there's lines, circles, transform, so we can move, rotate geometry or the actual models, offsets, things like that. Cut, we can cut geometry, lengthen geometry. Text, we can put text on, we can create nameplates, embossed, engraving, that type of thing. Those are all as dimensions. Not really used that one. That's extrude. I can extrude, emboss, extrude curves, cut from curves, sorry. That's creating 3D objects, surfaces. I think, yeah, that's surfaces. That's to do with surfaces. A lot of this stuff, because I've only had the XR9 Mill Expert for a few months, a lot of this stuff I've not actually used, and I'm still getting used to using the software. That's various other operations. Then we're getting to as 2D toolpaths. Now the previous version of XR9 that I had, it was Mill Advantage, so we had all these toolpaths, but we did have two. I think we had two. Was it one or two? I think we had two. Yeah, two. I think we had those two 3D milling toolpaths. So you had a little bit of 3D in the previous, in that software, but obviously stepping right up to the top version, there's all these different finishing toolpaths and 1, 2, 3, and 4 extra roughing toolpaths. So it's software's pretty versatile. And then over here we've got our toolpaths. So we're starting off here with a facing cut, so that's going to deck off all the material on the top, and for that we just use this, what is it, border, I forgot the word for it now, but that's the profile that we use to do the facing. Roughing, again we use the same profile, which is basically the dimensions of the stock that we're going to use. So we're doing a roughing pass, which is right down to full depth, which is 32 mil. But I've got that set to 32 mil depth, sorry, 25 mil depth of cut. So it comes down to this face here, but it's going to leave 0.2 on. And the reason I've done that is because I'm going to use a 12 mil cutter, but it's only, the flutes are only 30 mil long, so hopefully the 2 mil that it's going to rub on there is only going to be on the last pass it actually does around this square, and then it's going to, yeah, do that 25 mil and then come down to full depth. And yeah, as I say, it's that last depth there on the last cut round the square. It'll probably rub a bit on that 2 mil that it's going to touch, and there shouldn't be too many issues. So then this, we're just roughing that radius out there. This is roughing these fillets out along here, along the bottom there. Turn it there, click on it, yeah, around there, and on the other side as well. This one's machining all the flat areas, basically finishing it off. So we left 0.2 on these surfaces at the bottom and on this surface here. So that one, machine flat areas, that's just basically taking that last little bit off of there. Profile, that's finishing the profile down to the top of that fillet there. Sorry, zoom out a little bit. Yeah, so again, this is finishing the profile, which is going down to the top of this fillet here, so it's coming all the way around here, around the square, but around the top of that fillet and around this boss at, I think it's minus 20.25, 20.25, yeah. And then that's the whole profile, the full outside profile that we're machining. And for all these finishing toolpaths, we've actually made individual profiles, which we just select, pick the direction of cut, and then it does it that along that profile. The reason for creating these profiles for each of these toolpaths is because we can use cutter compensation. Now the 3D toolpaths, they don't have their cutter compensation, so if we want to make it slightly smaller or slightly bigger to get it to size, then we can put the compensation in on the machine and it'll do it. So then we start with the flow machining, which I mentioned earlier on that we're having problems with. So zoom in there. So that particular one, this is machining this one here. Second one, that's machining that taper. Zoom out again. Yeah, that's machining along that taper there. Now this bit's flat here, so that was all machined using that flat, using that flat surface machining operation. And then as last two, that's basically finishing off those fillets there. So that's the actual shape of the part done. We do need to drill these 2 holes, but I'm going to get it on the machine and do that, since it's taken me a while to get this sorted. And I think I need 1 drill and 2 reamers, which are on Morse tapers, and I've only got 2 Morse taper reamer, sorry, 2 Morse bits of tooling for the CNC. So that'll probably be a couple of separate operations anyway, which I probably won't go through on the software because it's pretty much just the same as doing all these operations, just drilling operations. But I will put footage in the in this video. And then what we can do here is we can go to simulate. We're actually simulating from stock, so what we've basically done is created stock beforehand, and it's using that stock model, and the stock model was 5mm above where that square or rectangular profile was, and I forget X amount down below the Z0 position. Let's speed that up a little bit. As you can see, it's leaving that roughing toolpath has left this bit's left here and on the other side, so that's where the radius, the fillets are going to be. It's rough machined that taper, and now we're coming down and finishing those, roughing those fillets off. That's finishing those flats I was saying about. We've done the finishing along the outside there, and this is just finishing that taper off now. Sorry, finishing the fillet. Yeah, sorry, that's finishing the taper off. We're doing the fillets now. Yeah, and that's basically it. Okay, so think I need to make a couple of tweaks for the flow machining for the speed, because I ordered some cutters and I programmed it for 4-float cutters, but we've only got 2 float, so we just need to half the feed. So I'm going to do that now, and then I think I've already got material set up in the vise. I just need to set the tools up, find the centre, and then we're good to go. So I'm going to use this piece of cast iron to machine the lever. And if you remember, that was a bit left over from when I machined the reverse lever bracket. And I can't get it on the horizontal bandsaw, so I'm going to have to mark it out with blue, scribe some lines so I can get a slug out of it, and then cut it out with angle grinder and a slitting disc. So there we have it, that side's machined, and it is the same date because I'm still shaved and had a haircut. But we're going to leave that there for now. I need to machine some jaws to machine this side so we can machine it down to thickness. But I'm going to do that in another video, as well as finishing the other bits that need to be done on here and fitting it onto the shaft that's going onto. So yeah, that's where we are at the moment. If you like the content in this video, hit that like button, subscribe, that'd be really cool, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.